All right, lesson number 2 on biochemistry. This one we're going to talk about proteins and nucleic acids. But remember, the ultimate goal here is so that you can tell structure and function apart from carbohydrates, fats or lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So proteins are the molecules that do pretty much everything in our body. All right? They have structural purposes, like your hair is made out of protein, but the most important purpose of a protein is the fact that they catalyze. Should be a word that maybe you remember from Unit 5. All right, they catalyze or speed up the biological reactions in our body to make them happen fast enough for us to actually use things and do stuff. Because most reactions wouldn't happen fast enough for us to stay alive. Without these protein enzymes, we would never exist. All right, so proteins are polymers. All right, so they're the big long chain of repeating things that are made from monomers called amino acids. So there are 20 different amino acids in the body. Their basic structure is right here. So this is kind of like a ball and stick diagram method of it. What's actually in here, all right, so the blue side is an amino group, which means it has a nitrogen in there, if you remember from our functional group lesson. It also has a carboxyl group, all right, which is that whole carboxylic acid. So amino acids are going to have just this simple structure at the top, and then attached to the center carbon, all right, there's what we call the R group. And this is the part that is different for the 20 amino acids. There are 20 different R groups. All right. So, continuing on with the structure of a protein, definitely recognizing that base amino acid is good, but also just recognizing that, when you have the polymer, you're going to see lots of those base amino acids tied together in a long chain with the R groups hanging off of them. And then ultimately, the protein is going to fold into some sort of structure. It's going to look really crazy and complicated, kind of like this guy, so that it can do whatever action it needs to do to catalyze our reactions. All right, so again, itty-bitty details aren't necessarily needed here, but make sure you could recognize, a picture of an amino acid or a picture of a protein formed via peptide bonds. All right. And the last molecule that we have to discuss are nucleic acids. So nucleic acids store our genetic material. So if you've ever heard of the term DNA, or, that the fact that genetics are what decide that you have brown hair or blonde hair or black hair or blue eyes or green eyes or brown eyes, all right? Nucleic acids are what make up DNA, all right? So nucleic acid is the term for the polymer. And then the monomers, the repeating units that make up the nucleic acid, are called nucleotides. So this is a picture of a nucleotide. All right. So nucleotides are going to have a phosphate in there somewhere. All right. They're going to have a sugar. So this is actually a sugar in there, plus a 1 to 2 ring structure. Depends on which nucleotide you're working with. All right, so like you can see here, we've got a 2-ring structure. Here we've got the 1 ring. 2 ring, 1 ring. All right. So to me, the real telltale sign that I've got a nucleic acid is this phosphate group here. All right, so it's a phosphate group with some rings. If you remember that, then you should have the structure down pretty well. So hopefully after watching these 2 videos, you should have a good handle on kind of the key differences between the 4 major macromolecules that make us live and survive. If you have any questions, please let me know.